You guys are holding opponents below 100 points per game. What, if anything, has led to that defensive resurgence?
I think at the beginning when those two, when Ev went out especially, trying to figure out, like Jay's taking a step, first of all. I want to say that. Jay's taking a major step in enforcing it down low. Isaac's been phenomenal. Everybody's done their job, Dean. But I think we're now starting to figure out, okay, being spots earlier, because Ev can kind of come over later, having each other's back, rebounding the ball, getting down the break, like stuff like that, I think has really helped us defensively, collectively as a whole, shifting, being in spots earlier, I think is the biggest thing. And then the biggest thing is going to the boards. But like I said, J.A.'s been a monster. So, I think that's something that truly is really helping us.
A couple of the guys talked about the defensive principles, and JB has talked about it as well, saying that they're not typical in the NBA. What makes them so unique?
I think first and foremost, the way we help, the way you help each other. I ain't gonna get too much into it, but the way we do help, and who we help from, I think is something that is different. You know what I mean? But I think it's something that, like I said, when Ev's there, it's normal. It makes sense. But when you have smaller guys, it's not as normal. So I think that took a little bit of adjusting to. Our offense was really ahead of our defense when those guys went out. And I think you're starting to see it, kind of even out, and there are going to be nights where we struggle with it just because it's different. But at the end of the day, we're doing it. We're figuring it out and we're doing it together.
Jackson.
Jackson Flickinger at Euclid. So over the last month, you guys are first in three-point frequency and offensive rebound rate. How has that consistency and play style really given you a baseline?
Just opening up the floor, taking the shots that were given, not being afraid, but can't overstate Dean Wade, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Sam Merrill, George Niang, and Max Strus. Like, you can't overstate, what they've brought to our, to our offense. They spaced the floor. That's why we brought Max and George here. And Sam's been phenomenal, as we all know. Dean as well. So I think now that's honestly, what's been the biggest thing. And myself, Karras, and everybody else. Isaac's taking, 6 threes a game. We love it. Keep shooting. That's the thing we preach. Keep shooting. Keep taking those shots. Even when we went through that rough stretch in the third, you see what happens in the fourth when you continue to take those shots. The odds will kind of go in your favor, and they did tonight.
Do you feel like this team has found more of an identity over the last month than you guys had previously?
Yeah, I think we're starting to figure things out. I think we're starting to figure each other out, and I think, like I was telling Chris, defensively, offensively, where it's all coming together. And I think that's the best part about it. Is just continuing to find ways as a group, playing together, offensively and defensively.
Ethan Sayers, Cleveland.com. Dean Wade had 3 of the last 5 buckets that you guys had. An insane shooting performance in the fourth quarter. What is it different when he's shooting with confidence?
He's a different dude. I scream at him to shoot the ball. And the best part about it is he doesn't take offense to it. Doesn't get in his feelings. He loves that support. But we all are. But when I pass it or when anybody passes it, he shot fakes. I'm like, bro, you're one of the best shooters on the team. Let it fly. And you see what happens in the fourth quarter. It changes the whole game. It's deflating. When you have to guard and then boom, at the end of the shot clock, I drive, kick. He's right there, end of the shot clock, bang a 3. Shoot again, bang a 3. Like, what I'm saying, drive a kick, you help, bang a 3. Offensive rebound, bang a 3. Like that shit is that is. That's tough, that's tough. And when he's like that, we're at our best.
When you guys weren't really getting on offense over the third and fourth quarter, you guys were hounding them on defense. Dean also had 3 steals, a career high match for him. What is it like to know that you guys can play on both sides, but when you're locked in on defense, then it's hard for other teams to get offense?
That's our identity at the end of the day. I think, when you're making it tough to score, no matter what happens on the offensive end, it's going to, it evens out in a sense. We may not be making shots, but we're on our identity. Like, you're not going to get a shot. You're not going to be able to do that. Whether it's getting the steals, creating the 24-second violation like we did, being in the passing lane, forcing tough shots, get on the boards, like whatever it is, just scrapping and fighting and clawing. That's the biggest thing. But I always give credit. Like, it starts with J.A. Like, he's been phenomenal, and, we've done a good job as well on the outside.
Chris, do you still see you guys as a defense-first team?
Yeah. it's closer than it was last year. I would say, it's kind of tighter, but I still think defense has been phenomenal. Defense has been really good, and especially on nights when our offense it hasn't been. But ultimately, you got to put the ball in the bucket too. But I think we're doing a lot of things really well defensively, which is helping us get out on the break and get to our offense, which is at a high rate.
They finished the third quarter on a 21-3 run, and then they took their first lead of the night early in the fourth quarter. What changed for you guys after that, and what was the approach down the stretch?
We missed shots. We didn't finish the quarter well, but it's going to happen. You're going to have a bad quarter. Ultimately, ours is in the third. So how do you respond? That's the biggest thing. And I think for us was just all right. They made their run. And now it's time for us to lock in and do what we do. And we did it on defense, on offense, whatever it may have been. That's what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what, you saw tonight.
Okay, that's it.